Hi, welcome to day 11 of Vlogmas. So where I thought I was pretty caught up with everything, I guess I'm not. So now you're getting real-time updates. With me taking off the weekend for feeling bad after my COVID booster and missing a day this week, I am pretty much on target with real-time updates. So I think for the time being, until I can be a little more up to date, I'm just gonna do weekday Vlogmas. It'll help me get some extra footage ahead of time and not feel so stressed out. So I did want to quickly go over my advent calendar for the 2 days that you missed, well, a day you missed and today. Even though kiddo has 3 advent calendars, one from me and one from each of grandmothers, we like to open mine as well. So now we have 4. So yesterday was Andy, so cute with his guitar, and today was Phyllis, and she is adorable. Her hair is so cute. It's very detailed with all like the curls and stuff, and I love it. And surprisingly, she stands up pretty well for having that amount of hair. Unlike Angela and Dwight. This morning I worked on my book, so I finished chapter 24 and I started on 25. When I was a couple paragraphs in, I was very close to the end of my sprints, so I just made some breadcrumbs for myself for next week. I'm not planning on working on the book over the weekend. I might, but I'm not planning on it. So we shall see. I have about 5 chapters left, and I was hoping to be done on the 17th, and if I'm not, I am banking on finishing the week of the 20th. Hopefully not too far into that week because there's a lot of holiday Christmas stuff happening that week with me and my family, so I just want to make sure that I get the book done before Christmas, because then I'm actually going to take off. And then I don't really have anything publicly planned for January. In terms of deadlines, I am sending my thriller to my editor in January. With her edits, she does 2 rounds of edits, and I think she gave them back to me probably earlier in the summer, and then I worked on them in the fall, October I believe. Then I had another person read it, and I think I'm going to make some of those changes too, so she's going to read it again and sort of give her thoughts prior to me making big changes, just to see if I should be making those changes, because one of my top strengths is restorative, which means that I like to fix things, so when given the opportunity, I do. So she just wanted to make sure that the core of the story stays the same with these changes, which I so appreciate, and I love having her there as sort of like my champion and my backup in that sense, to help me out. Thinking very futuristically, as you just saw when I tend to go off on tangents thinking, I am going to work today in between distance learning on a list, my declutter list, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit of that, plus a fun office supply type thing that I got that I'm really excited to start working on in a little bit. So as I said, on a different day I walked through the HB90 course, the declutter your lists and project lists and stuff, so I am going to sort of do my own way of doing that, and then I'm going to make a more permanent place for all of this, but I do want to put pen to paper for this because I find that it just helps me a little bit more with my thought process, a little slower. With writing, I like to write on a computer because the words come so quickly to me, but when it comes to planning, I really enjoy putting pen to paper, at least for part of the process, and when I solidify my plan a bit more, I usually make that digital, so I am going to do that. I gotta get back to work, but I will check in with you soon. So I'm back, and I wanted to, 1, show you something fun, and 2, jump back into my AMA. So my thing that's fun is this. Do you see it all? It's my 2022 full year planner. What a nerd, am I right? Well, my friend Sasha had this planner, and I immediately saw it during one of our Zoom sprints, and I was like, well, what is that? And I love the idea of having, like, this is just a small bit of it, the full year in play. I'm thinking for this that I'll probably bring it out every quarter, or possibly even reference it every week. I'm not sure. I don't really have wall space to put it up, but I'd like to use this as sort of that broader view of how I want to handle 2022. So I'm really excited to start using this. I don't know if I'll start during Vlogmas, but if I do it, you will be the first to see. All right, so for my AMA, I wanted to go back to sort of doing the questions in order. I have a question question from the SMU group. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. The SMU group. So they seem to think that I have empathy in my top 10 strengths. I don't, but I did like the question that they asked a little later on. So they were asking, do I have any tips on working with a strength instead of it working against me? Now, I wanted to sort of give that general question because I think it can apply to many people depending on your strengths. So for example, my top 2 strengths are intellection and deliberative, and they are 2 of the slowest strengths. For intellection, it means that I require a lot of thought. For deliberative, it means I require sort of a review of the risks involved with any given situation or decision. So that's just a quick overview. There's a lot more nuances to it, but when it has come to my books, okay, so I ghost wrote many books. I was a ghostwriter for a couple of years, and I sort of got into a routine at that point of writing books really, really fast. I could easily do 6,000 words a day consistently for months and months and months at a time. Sure, I hit burnout, warning sign, and I also, with my publisher, as a digital first publisher, I was able to write books within a couple months, sometimes quicker than that, and get those books out. But but to be honest, I usually had some sort of regret later on in the process, like, oh man, I really could have expanded this part or had another subplot or things like that, but the ball had to keep rolling. When it came to understanding my strengths, and I learned that my strengths are thinking and risk assessing, and when it comes to my books, I wasn't giving them enough time, which is sort of why I had all of these like regrets after I was done writing. So I was like, yeah, but I can write 6,000 words a day, which is ghostwriting, which is a totally different story because usually I was just commissioned to write like a first draft type level. Sometimes I was asked to edit, but when it came to my own books, I really, really required the time to think. And since learning my strengths, when I do give myself this time to think and assess my books or my projects or whatever I'm doing, I find that I, 1, burn out less, and 2, am able to put out the best product that I can, and I feel really, really good about that. So when it comes to the strengths test specifically and how it was designed, and I am not a scientist that worked with the strengths people, the Clifton Gallup people, but as it was described to me, is that it really brings out what you are naturally good at, where you naturally focus. Now, fighting against that is probably not the best idea. I mean, I feel like you would be having an uphill battle at that point. And in an opposite sense, when you're looking at your Clifton report and your lower end of your results, building up those strengths can also be an uphill battle. So working with things that you are naturally good at, for instance, me with my intellection, if I give myself more thinking time, that comes very natural to me, and it becomes almost very easy to me to be able to sit and think about something or actively think about something than it is for, say, my number 34 is communication. I'm not very quick on my feet when it comes to communication, which is why I prefer videos like this where I can think and edit and everything versus a live video. That is not really a strength that works naturally for me. Of course I could try to build it up, but why would I not try to build up the things I'm naturally good at versus the things I'm really not that great at naturally? So overall, I would try to work with them as much as you can, and if you do require any sort of help or you want some guidance and you are a writer, I would definitely recommend looking at the Better Faster Academy. They have a Facebook group that you can ask questions in. They do live coaching sessions, so I would just recommend learning as much as you can about your strengths and sort of sticking with that top 5, top 10 if you have a lot more knowledge about your top 5 strengths, and really start to hone those specific strengths. There are so many great resources, there's so many great courses you can take with the Better Faster Academy that I would recommend if you have any pain points and things like that. When you do take courses with the Better Faster Academy, you have access to private forums with each of your top 10 strengths, and then everyone else who has them in their top 10 are able to help you out, and you can sort of build a great community. I found so much community within that group. I met some people in that forum, and for Take Back Your Book, I feature them in the interview sections as well. So it's definitely a place where you can meet like-minded people who have the same strengths as yours, and you're able to connect with them and sort of figure your way through any questions you may have or any roadblocks or pain points that you may have. I hope I answered your question. I know it wasn't so specific to empathy, empathy, but I don't have that very high, so I just didn't feel very comfortable talking about that specifically. So yeah, that's it for the AMA for now. I gotta get back to it. Hey, another quick update. I worked on my author business plan today, which was fantastic. I feel really, really good about how I went through all of it. I will probably update you on a different day when it comes to my author business plan. I do need to wrap this up. It's the end of the day, it's the end of the week, and I just need to unwind, spend time with my family. I am doing a few things this weekend, not a lot, but I'm hoping to film a little bit if I can. I'd like to not skip a day if I can, but I'll probably skip the weekend. So you'll be seeing this on Monday. So you probably won't even see a blip other than the weekend. We'll see. But I feel really, really good about my plan and just sort of getting everything off of my mind in terms of the things that I want to be doing now that it's on paper. I don't have to worry about forgetting it. And it's a really big plan. It's a really like long-term plan, which I never really thought about before. Maybe just not having it on paper, but I'm really, really excited, and I would definitely dive a bit deeper into that business plan and my goals / projects for the first quarter of 2022. But anyway, I will see you tomorrow.